Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Appreciate you jumping on. Do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Certainly helps the channel. Today we are going to hear from Caitlin Long, Mr. Man, Smoke Dog, Pomp, and Black Swan, amongst others. But first, let's look at pricing. Bitcoin back above 60,000 at 6255 with a $1.19 trillion market cap. Ethereum up to 2,409. Solana at 135, on its way to 136, and XRP up to 58, almost 59 cents, with a $33.14 billion market cap. So, moving in the right direction. Not where we want to be, but in the right direction. Let's move on to our first piece of news coming from Caitlin Long, and this involves Donald Trump and his announcement embracing crypto. So let's take a listen to this. Leave your comments in the comments section as to what you think this is going to be about, how it's going to work.
Join me live on Twitter Spaces at 8 p.m. this September 16th for the launch of World Liberty Financial. We're embracing the future with crypto and leaving the slow and outdated big banks behind.
So if you're on X, give that a listen on Monday the 16th. Moving on to Mr. Man here, he says Ripple and Stellar, Australia's stablecoin with Novati and the Reserve Bank of Australia. The AUDC and the AUDD stablecoins are indeed the same, with the name having been changed from AUDC to AUDD. So let's take a listen to part of this interview and see what's happening in Australia with stablecoins.
Is the Chief Executive Officer of Novati Group, Peter Cook. Peter, nice to see you.
Mel, hello. Great to be back. Thank you.
Always lovely to have you here. Now, Novati has recently announced 2 deals around your stablecoin services. Talk us through it.
We've been able to announce partnerships with both Stellar and Ripple, 2 of the major cross-border blockchain networks, both based out of Silicon Valley and both with very high market capitalizations relatively. Ripple we've done a lot of work with in the past for cross-border payments, and Stellar we had started on a blockchain program with them a number of years ago, but now we're really bringing it to life. So we're building a multi-chain stablecoin service, initially on both the Ripple and Stellar chains. And in fact, what's a great thing is both Ripple and Stellar are largely funding the development work and even some of the marketing work that we do to get our stablecoin service out. So the stablecoin will be a dollar for dollar backed Australian dollar stablecoin. So we are a licensed company. We'll be running our funds in trust accounts, and then we've got an Australian dollar stablecoin named AUDC. Somewhat in line with the nomenclature of the US stablecoin USDC.
I know, I think a couple of weeks ago, we were just talking about the
call for both super sovereign currency and a new approach to interbank cross-border transfers. And he posts a couple things here just highlighting, what that means. And, most importantly, you see here, supranational currency, in parentheses, Ripple XRP. So there's another connection as it relates to this type of movement in the crypto and blockchain world. So some serious dot connecting there from Smoke Dog, and good stuff. Let's move on to Anthony Pompliano, who is big on Bitcoin, and he talks here during an interview. I'm going to start at about 52 seconds, and you can just hear some of what he says as it relates to Bitcoin versus the stock market, and it's actually pretty incredible what he says here. So take a listen. Let me get it to the spot, and then we'll go from there.
Liked, what you didn't like, and what we can do better next time. We love hearing all of your feedback. Here's my conversation with Phil Rosen. All right, Phil, what's the first topic you got?
I want to start with this crazy stat that you wrote about this week. Bitcoin has now been available for trading for more total hours than stocks. And this started in 1971 when Nixon moved the dollar off the gold standard. And that initiated what's called the fiat era for the economy and currencies. And right now, stocks have been trading for about 100,000 hours. And even though Bitcoin's only 15 years old, because it's 24/7 markets, it's been trading for 123,000 hours. What do you make of this?
So it's really interesting. Like, first of all, before anyone goes and says, oh no, the stock market's been trading for longer than since 1971, of course. But in the fiat era, as you pointed out, since 1971 and the Nixon shock, the stock market has only been open in terms of hours of operations during the week. I always like to point out that the stock market is actually closed more hours a week than it is open. So they got your money and you can't access it more than what they will allow. Those hours of operations prevent you. And so then if you go and you look at Bitcoin, it trades 24/7, 365. Now, one of the advantages is that there's stuff that happens geopolitically or in the economy all the time. Maybe it happens early in the morning. Maybe it happens late at night. Maybe it happens on the weekend. Bitcoin is always trading. And so you can always access your money. You can always buy or sell whenever you want to.
Don't always agree with Anthony Pompliano, but he makes a good point there. Bitcoin is traded 24/7. The stock market does in fact close down. I mean, this is this is why we're moving towards the Internet of Value. So cryptocurrency can be traded all the time. It's like the internet; it doesn't shut down. So good stuff. You can see the rest of the interview there if you go to Anthony Pompliano's page. But let's move on to Black Swan Capitalist, who say here, why did the BIS, Bank of International Settlements, confirm the Saudi central bank as a full participant in Project Mbridge, while it also signed a blockchain deal with Ripple in 2018? It's because Project Mbridge will be utilizing the XRP ledger, given the unbiased nature of XRP itself. He goes on to say inside the article here, Saudi central bank is joining Mbridge. It states it right there. And then secondly, that Saudi Arabia Central Bank has signed a deal with the US-based Ripple to help banks in the kingdom settle payments using blockchain software. So again, I know I say it, but the connections are inevitable here for XRP through Mbridge and now with Saudi Arabia and many others. So. Let's move on here to Cyprus Demonicor. He says this massive confirmation, billions of traditional assets on public blockchains, including XDC, is at the forefront. So let's take a quick listen here just at the beginning of this.
But I think we should be open to the experimentation across the board. I'm very, very happy to hear that there are large public banks that are experimenting with private blockchains, because that is the beginning of them eventually moving to a public blockchain.
So right there stated, again, that we're moving in that direction. Uphold has just announced they're going to be providing yield up to 5% on dollars held with them over $1,000. I think it's 2.5% for anything under $1,000. Even Uphold is beginning to act more like a bank as we move forward. So good stuff there. That's going to do it for today's show. Appreciate you guys watching. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. Certainly helps out. And I will see you on the flip side.